Today I'm going to talk to you about numbers. So bear with me. These are very general numbers from my province, my state where I live, Quebec province in Canada. I live in Montreal. So I've read recently some stats about artists. Are you an artist looking to increase your art sales or finding new opportunities? I invite you to get the book called Living from Your Art, available on Amazon. It will help you to find new ways and gain more self-confidence to sell your art and find new clients. All right, let's start this podcast. Welcome to this new episode of the Living from Your Art podcast. This is your host, Eli. Today I'm going to talk to you about numbers. So bear with me. These are very general numbers from my province, my state where I live, Quebec province in Canada. I live in Montreal. So I've read recently some stats about artists. 0.0, half of 1%. Let's call it this. Half of 1% of people living in Quebec province are artists that are living from their art. So that means there's about one artist for 200 person, between 200 and 250 people, there's one full-time artist. But what's interesting about this is that there's one full-time artist, but the average income for these artists is only about $20,000 Canadian per year. So I want to tell you this because when you realize that, you can realize that being in the top artist, in the top 1% of artists, of successful artists, is not that difficult. Wherever you live, I'm pretty sure that the statistics about this are pretty much the same. So that means that if you're making more than $20,000 Canadian from your art per year, you're in the top 0.001% from people actually living from their art. Okay? So I know there's many numbers, but my purpose and my point is that if you understand this, let's just take the number of full-time artists per the number of people. That's about one full-time artist that is making about $20,000 per year. That's not a lot of money. You don't even survive on this. So one artist per 200 people. So that means that you alone, just by being a full-time artist, you are influencing at least 200 people. That's a lot of people to have with you all the time, to follow you all the time. And you have to understand this. You at least are influencing positively 200 people just because you're living from your art. So this is where I in a previous podcast, I was talking about responsibility. This is where you can see where responsibility can come into place. If you are influencing positively 200 people just by living from your art, and you're showing them a good example by following your passion and your creativity and all of this, that means that you should push through any kind of barriers. You should help these minimum 200 people. Of course, some artists will influence thousands of people. Some will influence 50 people, 20 people. Some will influence hundreds of people. So my main point is that I want you to understand that your path, your adventure as an artist is very important for others, not just for you. This is something I want you to understand. And when you look at this, in Quebec province, I think we are about 8,500,000 people. So let's put this to 8 million people. That means that in only my province, there's about 32,000 full-time artists for 8 million people. And these 32,000 artists are responsible to help 8 million people with their art. That's a lot of people to entertain and to help. Understand this. You are part of a very small minority, but you're helping the vast majority. So when you understand this and you take the decision that you're going to take this responsibility of helping this big majority, then you can push through some bigger barriers. So understand just these numbers. Wherever you are, you're probably helping about 200 to 250 people just by deciding that you're a full-time artist. Of course, I don't want you to quit your job right now. You know, it goes by increments. You're going to make more and more money the more you become comfortable selling your art or your artistic services. But what I mean is that as soon as you take this decision of taking responsibility for 250 people, for their well-being, their happiness, their creativity, because you can inspire others to become full-time artists. So that's it for today. I just wanted to throw out some numbers there. You can look up for yourself some numbers for your own city, your own state, your own country, and see for yourself. But mainly what I found was that it's about 0.5% of people in Canada or in my province that are full-time artists. So that's one artist per 200 person. That's it for today. Yeah, that's it for today, guys. I hope you had a great podcast episode. I hope you're gonna look up some numbers for your own city and look for yourself. How much money do you have to make to become in the top 1% of artists in your own city? And if you did not get my book, you know what to do. Go on Amazon and get my book. It's called Living from Your Art. It's going to help you get to that level of 0.05% of people who are actually can call themselves full-time artists. Until next time, stay creative, and I'll talk to you soon.